Hey, what's up YouTube, Skybadger here, and we are back on day 11 of our 100 player fan game series. So, in the terms of index of nations, we are not looking too good. We've fallen back into 12th place, but I suspect in the coming days we are going to rise a bit more and just hang around really that 10th-ish place. It's definitely doable and we will get there. If we have a look at the most advanced nations, we can see that we are on the list down in 12th place, which actually perfectly matches our rank on the Index of Nations. So that's pretty good to see. Now, we could be higher, but we've been pretty sloppy with our research, mainly just due to the lack of goods we've had. So if we can pick up our goods production, we can definitely afford to keep up in that sort of area. In terms of economy, I'll go over this quickly because there isn't much to say. We are finishing off the last of the infrastructure upgrades to our food production. As we can see, that has had a massive effect, lifting it back above 100. If we want to improve it any further though, the cost is going to be far greater just due to the cost of infrastructure upgrades. We're also upgrading our ports at the moment, and this is a big step and a very expensive one too. Once we get these upgrades, we'll be able to start producing carriers, which I have just started the research for, so they'll be ready in 18 hours. Also, as you can see down here, just a few more infrastructure upgrades that aren't quite there yet. In terms of what troops we're producing, we're only producing cruisers. Ran into a few issues with goods, and we've got to start working on our air-based network and that sort of thing as well. So in the coming days, I have got some more troops lined up, but it's not really that many. As we can see here, I'm going to carry on producing when I have the materials, tactical bombers and naval bombers, as well as cruisers. I really need to get these naval battle groups out and ready to go, because Borneo attacked us. So, before we get to Borneo, I am moving around the islands at the moment, and this is just a pretty slow attack. My goal here is really just to capture some of these islands, to boost our production and lift our morale, and that will have a massive effect as the war goes on. Now, I also plan to, in the future, just for fun, build air bases all the way out to here, and then out to here, over to here, over to here, then to Hawaii, where I can then hopefully research strategic bombers and then bomb America. I want to see that happen. I really do. Anyway, so what happened with Borneo is we were gearing up and we were getting ready to attack, and we hadn't ordered our troops to leave yet. We're still in the process of grouping them. Anyway, at day change, my spies reported a group of subs over here that were blocking the exit of our convoys. So I went to get our convoys out of there, and in doing so, he attacked them. So, I mean, I did kind of see it coming, but I was hoping he'd be offline and I could slip them out and they'd be all good. But luckily, we were able to attack them before he fully grouped all of his subs. In total, there would have been 5 of them, and 5 against the 5 destroyers they had in there. With the convoys would have dealt some serious damage. Luckily though, since then I have managed to get some cruisers up into the fight, and all my destroyers are currently fighting for their lives and to defend the troops. Down here, this convoy here was attacked by 3 submarines, as we can see. That's in the way. Yeah. As we can see, that submarine there is nearly done, and so is this one down here. That was the same submarine. Anyway, they're both nearly done, and once we're done with that, our destroyers and cruisers that are in the area can push back up and help take these out. This destroyer here has taken a bit of a beating, but it's really important we deal to that. So although this large group of troops down here did get hit, we've managed to sneak, well, not sneak, sneak's the wrong word. We've managed to slip this one past, and it's immediately going in for land. Now, the original goal of this group here was to head up and start taking the Philippines, which is under the control of Borneo. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you guys are pretty good at telling me when I'm wrong, so I'll leave that to you guys. So, basically what happened is intel suggested that there was more submarines heading down this way, so I sent it off this way, and the only reason it's stopping here is to make sure I can get it to land and land it here safely. I don't know what's being produced in the city. For all I know, it could be a submarine, and if I try to send it up to there, I could get caught out. So I'm going to try to make it to land pretty quickly and then advance from there. So while me and New South Wales did have a plan that I'd attack Borneo's larger island in the Philippines, then New South Wales would attack the smaller island and his land he's conquered up around here. We're now going just for a lot slower approach, seeing Borneo has removed our element of surprise. So we no longer have the element of surprise, so we're going to have to take it a little bit slower, and we can't really move into position the way we'd like. So starting with this island here, moving on to this one, and then we'll take out his non-core provinces. By that point though, it should be a pretty easy fight once we take out His core provinces, his economy will be decimated, and he will struggle to put up any form of resistance. At least that's what we want to see happening. Now, we have got a few issues that I do need to kind of cover at some point and fix. We have this hole in our sub wall down here, so I might actually produce 2 more subs would be enough to cover it. I can cover up to there, but yeah. So basically what I want to do is I want to finish the sub wall, because at the moment I'm moving subs into position up here to block this off, and then we've got all of that blocked off all the way down here. We'll see anything that's coming, and if we get that blocked off, then all of our cores are safe from raid attacks. So I might actually order that now, but I'll wait until some of these other things get into construction, and then I will build some more submarines to fill that gap. Now on top of that, because we do have a lot of our submarines tied up in defenses down south, we are actually pretty thin up here with submarines. We have got a submarine up over here scouting, and yeah, it's just watching these troops over here. I expect he'll try and move them back to his core pretty soon. I'll cut them off when they do so. He has moved these submarines back, which suggests that he doesn't have intel necessarily on what I'm doing. I think he just managed to catch what's happening over here with a sub and then moved in to prepare to counter. So that's the plan right there. I also have a submarine right here, which is acting as a bit of screen at the moment. I foresaw that a submarine was coming in down here to then attack, so I parked it up there to give myself time to first destroy this submarine here. Once that submarine there is destroyed, we can focus on that one, which is tied up fighting the sub. So all this battle here is very close to ticking over, 8 seconds. What I expect to see here is both of these submarines get destroyed, because they are going to... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that's what the submarine was doing before. Anyway, so I'm not going to send those troops immediately down this way. That's a long stretch, and I'm not sure I can beat these subs to it. So instead, I'm going to send this whole group here up to help attack that. And I'm going to split the destroyers off, so the destroyers can get well ahead and they can do their job. At this point in time, I know there's no other ships around, so the convoys will be pretty safe on their own. I'll just make sure I group them up with some other ships, so that they are a little bit safer in the meantime. So by the time that's done, I can then send all of my troops up into this main island, and I may actually be able to spare enough resources to get some troops up onto here and capture this island up here and get myself some more production. At the same time, I am also finally getting around to building a airbase here. As we can see, New South Wales has done a great job of preparing airbases over here, but I haven't filled the gap. So within the next few hours, the airbase will be somewhat operational, and then we can use it to get aircraft up to here, and then from here we have a little more scouting range. In fact, if we build an airbase there, can we? Yeah, we can patrol across and potentially do some damage, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm also sending a naval bomber across onto this island over here, so I can do some scouting out over this area. This area of Papua New Guinea is incredibly valuable considering the amount of industrial centers it has, but we are not protecting it all, and that's something we will need to do in the future. Another interesting thing to note is Borneo is in a coalition with... Does it say whose coalition he is in if we go in like this? No, it doesn't. Anyway, we know for a fact he's in a coalition with some of the other biggest players in the game, so it'll be really interesting to see how they react. As we can see here, he's part of the biggest coalition in the game, allied with these players down here, of which I'm not even going to try and pronounce. So, well, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure they were allied with Mongolia as well. That's a good sign. Yeah. They were allied with Mongolia as well at some point, I'm pretty sure. So it's good to see that they are, you know, kicking people out and moving on. They're not too committed to their current allies, which is good to see. Now, they are still tied up here fighting our allies, and it appears as though our friend up here is just staging a massive defense. His goal is to waste their time and to slow them down, and I think he's going to actually do a really good job of that. If he holds defensive points just like this, especially with the amount of artillery he's going there, he's going to have a... His enemy, National China, is going to have a very hard time getting in there and actually dealing some damage. So that will buy us a lot of time until, of course, rockets come along, in which case it's going to definitely not go his way at all. So we have until then. We have plenty of time to gear up and finish taking the Pacific. Once we claim the last of these islands, so I feel like we're going to be in a pretty defendable location, I'll be able to extend my sub-wall all the way up to here, and we should be good to go. So there isn't really much more to say. in this theatre. If we have a look around, I'll turn off morale map and I'll give you a quick look over this area with morale map off. There you go, you can see all that, nothing too impressive. We can come up into the United Kingdom and we see that Romania has made a lot of progress. He isn't finding anyone at the moment. Actually, I think he's actually just taking out Greece and Bulgaria. Yeah, so he's just doing that at the moment. He's not doing all that much, but he's gearing up. As we can see, he has this massive border with Kazakhstan and he's still reinforcing it. All the cities behind his lines have some pretty formidable defenses. Raiding against Romania at the moment would be incredibly hard. Running into groups like this would be hard to go past. You immediately get slowed down, especially if you draw them out in the cities and they can form a formidable line. Raiding would be near impossible. Now, Italy, King Congo, has just attacked the United Kingdom and was doing a great job, but the United Kingdom became active again. So, yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you go inactive, guys. You get murdered. Don't go inactive. So, there's not much more to say there. Egypt has been attacked by Saudi Arabia, and it'll be interesting to see how this fighting goes. I know that Egypt is pretty busy at the moment in real life, so hopefully he can hold himself. It doesn't appear as though he actually has many troops left, though he appears to have a formidable air force, but I can't see many other ground troops. If we have a look at that right now, yeah, I guess actually he actually has some pretty good numbers. I guess when you actually add it all up, it is quite a bit, especially with that group of 16 right there. All of his light tank. Oh, okay, yeah, and he has that across there as well. So he actually does have some pretty formidable numbers, and if you group them up, they'd be a pretty hard group to deal with. Spain has also finally moved down into Africa. I wouldn't want to head north, to be honest. I wouldn't want to run into Italy myself, so I think he's made the right move. If I was him, though, I'd definitely fortify this border down here, and get some submarines out along here and down this coast to cover his flanks. South Argentina has also moved into Africa and is claiming land from the inactive Volta, which is good to see. The former biggest player in South America has gone inactive and is slowly being taken out by Venezuela, who reports say is a gold user. So, I mean, we're going to face them in the future at some point probably, or our allies will, so it'll be interesting to see what happens and see if those accusations are confirmed. Heading up, we can see that Rog, New England, and his allies in Illinois and Quebec are making some awesome progress. They really are. Texas is nearly defeated. Then after that, they really only have to worry about California. I forgot to mention Alberta is also with them. And then from there, they can head down south and start to deal with everything that's happening down there, which could be interesting considering how ununited this front is down here. So there's not really all that much else to say. I'll keep you updated with another video tomorrow, but in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.